Hey, are we beginning?
It looks like it. I see two people done checked in.
Okay, wait for people to come in. All right.
All right, greetings. How everybody doing this evening?
Peace, what's happening, bro? Let's go.
Yo, what's good? How y'all doing?
No complaints. All is well.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, I'm sending 4 links out right now.
Okay. Let me see. Trying to make sure we're good on my Facebook page.
Callie, you can text me your Facebook information real quick because it just kicked your page off, so I can put it back.
All right, I'm texting it to you now. It's in your text, bro.
No, it's asking me to stop the screen to put it back on there. We'll have to restart it.
So what is going to be a new link?
No, I mean we can just keep going. We can run it from here, and you can always post it up there later. But for it to go live now, I will have to stop it and restart it back. You muted
Callie,
on your
your mic muted.
Do whatever you got to do to make it go how it's supposed to go. If they got to come back in, they got to come back in.
All right, no problem. All right, no problem.
Are we gonna? Is it gonna be a new link or same link?
No, everything is the same. Y'all don't have to do nothing on y'all end.
Okay.
I bet, yeah, because I just sent the link out to a bunch of people and all of that. So yeah, I'm about to resend something. Yeah.
reach the point in your life where... Do I need to mute? Hey, Tom.
Yo.
Do you want to promote the book too?
I mean, yeah, you know, we can show all of that.
Or do you want to do that yourself? It would probably be better if you do that yourself. I can, you know, I can mention it and let you do all the specifics on how they can get it and all of that, right?
Yeah, we can discuss all of that. You know, first and foremost, I want to take care of the questions. You know, have the conversation, discussion about this other subject matter. Yeah. And you know, some of what I'm going to be screen sharing will have some extracts from the book.
Exactly. So, that's why I was saying that. Yeah, because I know you were going to be pulling from the book. So
yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay, that's cool. Can I put down that you're an American Indian author?
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah. Yeah, we're still live too, man.
Are we?
Yeah.
Bones ready to tell us something. This nigga Bones got us live. I can't even say. Okay, let me see. He didn't tell us we was live.
Yeah, he said it was an issue with connecting to Facebook. Facebook disconnected or something. So
yeah, I thought he went out though. I thought he took us out. I thought I'm looking at an old screen. I think we might be looking at an old screen, bro. He said he had to go back out. And,
no, you live. Yeah, YouTube live. Everything's still live on YouTube and everything else. Yeah, yeah. Y'all can talk, communicate with the chat and everything. I'm just setting up the Facebook so it'll be there.
Okay, shit. Hold on 1 second, man. Let me... Oh man, y'all! I did not know we were live. Check this out, man. This is your boy Chief Cali, man. Listen, we're on a brand new page, man. Tribe Biz page. This is our new page, man. We're gonna start trying to do our lives and things from over here. This is a different, you know, this is where me and my brothers want to be able to come together with the community and have conversations together. You get what I'm saying? Under the Tribe Biz banner, man. This is just showing unity over here. No beefing, no arguing, none of that. You know what I'm saying? And tonight, this is our first live, and I want to tell y'all, man, I am very, very excited. Very excited, man, to have these two brothers joining in. We got the brother Bones, who's doing our he's handling our technical issues tonight, our technical situations, being able to get it live stream to all of y'all. So I want to thank him definitely for joining this live. We also got my brother Tomahawk Tony in the motherfucking building. We got Tomahawk Tony in the building, man. This brother is he likes to consider himself a natural American Indian. This brother, he's full of information. This is an American Indian author. And tonight he's going to be in his presentation. He's going to be digging into some excerpts from his book tonight. So we definitely glad to have everybody checking in, man. Let me shout out who's checking in here. And my brother Bones, man, let me tell you, that brother right there, that brother is a young historian himself. You know what I'm saying? He's an American Indian researcher. This is who we dealing with tonight. And he's also a community activist also. I'm not sure if he still does his show, but he has the Cab Grand Rising show on his YouTube channel, Tomahawk Tony has his page, the Tomahawk Tony channel, man. Listen, man, a lot of information going around, man. So tonight, what we're gonna deal with is Black history versus American history. With this being so-called Black History Month, we're gonna tap in. We're gonna tap in to this whole Black history thing, and we're gonna also talk about some American history, what they don't teach us. You get what I'm saying? So let me see. We got my brother Said Mac checking in. We got Excel Services checking in here, man. Halito to everybody checking in, man. Indigenous Acromac is up in here. The Rand is in here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So, you know, we got some more people. I don't know if this is the whole chat. If my screen not moving. I don't know if that's everybody, but yeah, man. It says live is off. The live is off. Okay. I'm not sure what screen I should be looking at. Listen, y'all, this is my first time on this particular program, so I'm trying to. I'm learning as we are live right now on this platform. But I thank y'all for checking in, man. You know, halito to all of you guys. But I think this is something we definitely need to deal with. We definitely need to deal with this whole Black history and American history thing. We've been lied to for so long, man, and I feel like 2021 has to be this year. 2021 has to be this year where we stop playing the games. We stop playing the games of the pretty lies. You get what I'm saying? And we have to start digging into this ugly truth. However ugly that truth may be, we have to start digging into this ugly truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so one of the things we're definitely gonna talk about tonight is okay, look at your main screen. It will be slightly delayed, but it looks like it looks fine for myself.
Yeah, everything live. Yeah,
so
everything
live. The main screen is right here where it says on air, right?
Yeah.
Is that my main screen? So that's the screen I need to pay attention to, not this, not the one to the side.
Yeah, the one you're looking straight up, it'll say live. You see the little eye. Then to the right, you see the chat. Yeah, that's in real time.
Okay, the one to my left has the eye. I don't need.
That's it. No, that's just letting you know that you're live. That's it.
Okay, so the one that says Chief Cali on air is what I need to be focusing on.
No.
The other one with the eye.
Yeah.
The one with the eye is what I need to focus on. Okay, I got you now. Yeah, man. So you know, I am Chief Cali, man. You know what I'm saying? Pretty new to the community, maybe 3 or 4 years in, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of y'all know me, man. Doing community work, you know, out here with my community, with my Truth Speaks Foundation. You know, so a lot of y'all have seen me around putting in work in the community, in my lane of being inspiration, being motivation, you know what I'm saying? And it's, you know, I think we're just here to let people know that a new wave is here, man. And we have to stop. We have to get away from just all the talking. We need to start putting these solutions together. So that's what we're doing today, man. Today is just a conversation, Black history versus American history. I don't know if you're ready to roll with, you know, the intro before we get into the situation or not. Are you ready for that, Bone?
Yeah. I'm set up.
Yeah. You know, go and crank it up, man. And we'll, after the song, we'll come back, man. Get some people some time to get in here, and we'll come back, man, after the song, man, and you know, get into this, man. I'm good. Shout out to Tribe East. East. Okay, I don't know. Can y'all hear me? If y'all can't hear me, it said the host unmuted. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Bones?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying, man, shout out to my brother Chief Netcher. I saw check in earlier. I don't know where his comment went, but shout out to my brother Chief Netcher for checking in, man. That's Tribe East, man, dealing with that East Coast, you know what I'm saying, helping us move things on that East Coast, man. So we definitely want to show our appreciation to that brother, my brother Wild Indian, my cousin Slim Bull, you know, the brother. We gotta change our mentality. Hey, Bone. Let's get back to our families. Hey, Bone, do the county sun first. You can play that at the end, Bones. Just do Connie Sun first. Play that at the end.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, do Connie Sun first. I want y'all to check out this song from my brother Connie Sun, man. Definitely from my city of Cleveland, Ohio. Real positive music artist, man. Okay, they said we can hear you. Okay. So this song right here is called The Hate You Give. Thug. The Hate You Give. So, you know, I try to promote artists who are doing positive music, man. I try to make sure we shine a light on those type of artists, man, because we got too much negativity going on in our music, in our film, all of that stuff that our kids and stuff look at and they listen to every day. You know what I'm saying? It's getting programmed. It's programmed into their head, the drill music, the gangster music, the dope boy music. But then when you have good, positive music, we don't even acknowledge it. We don't even push it. You know what I'm saying? And then we wonder why we don't hear it. You know, so I always try to shine a light on anybody, any artists, any filmmakers, anybody doing anything positive, man. I like to, you know, definitely tell their story or have them tell their story or bring people along who can tell their story. So anytime you're ready, Bone, I'm good. And again, just please bear with us, y'all. This is our first time on this page, and we're streaming. I'm not streaming from my house. You know what I'm saying? I'm not streaming from where I'm at. So my brother is streaming, Bones is streaming 2 hours away from me. So, you know, just bear with us, y'all.
Questions. Can I ask what we hate each other for? See, I'm just asking. You got that passion to see your sister go. I wanna see that woman stand, you leave her on the floor. Let's try to gain some understanding before you go to war. Your spirit pour deja vu, I've seen this before. Time after time played in my mind, I can't take no more. I did the crime, I did the time, I only bruised my soul. I had to grind, I had to climb, I had to choose my role. Have you been told that I love you lately? Been around those who don't bug you lately. Go around those who don't drive you crazy. You need a hug, my sister. Better help with that mean mug, my sister. Come on, receive it, don't you shove, don't push me. It might not be about your nookie. And again, it might be about your cooking. Give you some ends, trying to supply some cushion. Discipline without no whooping. Known to show and prove without no woofing. Open your eyes to what you overlooking. Baby, don't that feel nice? Yeah, let me show that, don't that feel right? Ever felt what true love feel like. This ain't no pill high. With no shit they growing, no feel high. Keep you grounded, but yet you still fly. See, now I realize you epitomize everything a woman should be. And I pray to God that he working on my third eye, so I see that this world ain't all about you. It ain't all about me, but if you really giving out LOVE, so can I ask what we hate each other for? See, I'm just asking, you got that passion to see your brother go. I wanna see that man stand, you leave him on the floor. Let's try to gain some understanding before we go to war. Your spirit pour deja vu, I seen this before. Young men are dying, young women dying, I can't take no more. You do the crime, you do the time, you only bruise your soul. You gotta grind, you gotta climb, you gotta choose your road. Have you been told that I love you lately? Go around those who don't bug you lately. Been around those who don't drive you crazy. You need a hug, my brother. Better help with all that hate, my brother. I know you dealt with dudes that's fake, my brother. Understand I can relate, my brother. Only so much you can take, my brother. What I'm trying to say, don't let that hate become you. Don't never break, my brother. Let me carry some of that weight, my brother. Better cleanse your soul for it's too late, my brother. See, now I realize you epitomize everything a brother should be. And I understand that that melanin inside you connect you to me. And that sun is where we gon' meet. Like God is how we gon' speak with the same power to build and destroy, but yet unique. See, you get weak and I get weak, and we stay strong together. We keep each other inside that light, cause the darkness harms whoever. And you only create a diamond, keep applying that pressure. My crew knew better, go faster by yourself, but we go farther when we go together. I ask what we hate each other for. See, I'm just asking, we got that passion to see each other go. I wanna see that person stand, you leave them on the floor. Let's try to gain some understanding before you go to war. Your spirit pour deja vu, I seen this before. Young men are dying, young women dying, I can't take no more. I did the crime, I did the time, I only bruised my soul. I had to grind, I had to climb, I had to choose my road. Have you been told that I love you lately? That I love you lately. Have somebody, I love you lately. Say, I love you lately. Have somebody told you. Yeah. See how that came out.
Yeah, that's my brother Connie's son, man, out of Cleveland, Ohio, man. Very positive music artist, man, and he's also a activist in the community, man. Been through a lot of things. That brother fought a murder case where he was framed for murder. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, he could have took the route where he came out and you know, really went back into them streets. But that brother took his turn, you know, and he fought that case on his own. He came out and he looked to help his people, his community, after being framed. You get what I'm saying? He could have came out angry and mad. So that's why I definitely try to support that brother, man, because his story is amazing, you know, and he's out of my city of Cleveland, Ohio, man. So I definitely want to salute that brother, man. Bones.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's that phone.
Yeah,
that's
man. Like, oh man, his music is crazy. Like, it's real street, but it's positive. It's crazy, man. And you know, I can't do nothing but you know, share that with what we're dealing with right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everything we're hearing right now is things to basically destroy our communities, destroy our people. You know what I'm saying? When we hear our rap music of today, you get what I'm saying? It's crazy. Yeah. We don't want to promote positivity. We need the negativity. That's what we want to promote. And we all know this is by design that this happens. The problem is, we know it's by design, and we keep falling into the trap. What does that say about us? At what point do we break the cycle?
Correct.
How you doing, Bones? How you doing, Tomahawk Tony, man? What's happening? How y'all brothers doing?
No, I'm good. I say no.
He might be on mute.
He probably stepped away. Yeah, he muted.
Oh, he muted. Okay, cool.
No, you got me on mute. Now I'm unmuted. Yeah.
No,
I'm back.
Yeah, I have to unmute. Off mute. Yeah.
Man, listen, how y'all brothers doing, man? I'm excited about this conversation right now. Where we're gonna deal with Black history versus American history, man. You know, how y'all feeling about that?
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
I kind of think this is very important that we need to start having this conversation. Like I was saying before we went to the little break, like I was saying, I think it's time we have to stop swallowing that blue pill, man. You know what I'm saying? And enjoying these pretty lies and not waking up from these pretty lies. You know, some of us are so comfortable, man. We're so comfortable following the pretty lies, man. And I think that now it's time we have to start dealing with the red pill, the ugly truth. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that truth don't come so pretty. A lot of times that truth don't come pretty. You know, and I think today I'm ready to deal with it. You feel what I'm saying? I'm definitely ready to deal with this. You know, so what y'all think about that, man? Like, you know, what y'all want to tap into, man? Listen, because I got some questions from some people, man, that, you know, I think we need to tackle also, you know. But shit, hey, Bones, tell us a little bit about who you are too. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let y'all speak for yourself.
Yeah, basically, a lot of people done met me before through the show from the Cat Grand Rising show, you know, Bones H. McCoy, and just taking my skill set and doing what I can to bring about change by talking about the programs and stuff that I came across, USDA, HUD Section 3, FSA, and how we can use these programs right now to rebuild our communities, you know, and especially with the topic, Black history versus American history, because a lot of these programs are part of American history, especially when you find out some of these been around since the top of the 1900s, some from the middle 1800s.
So do you mean it's for Black history?
No, American history.
American history. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, Black history to me is something that was created because we didn't pick that history. That history was given to us. You get what I'm saying? It's characters and bits and pieces to keep you in a particular mind state that was given to you. Mm-hmm. But what happens, like I always say, what happens when you do your own research and your own personal history and you find out who you are, who your family is? It's a whole nother story from what they trying to, you know?
I totally agree. What you feel about that, Tony?
Yeah, I agree with what Bones just said there. You know, basically, you know, let's you know, I deal with the history, right? So, you know, when the foreigners initially arrived here, you know, we had the Spanish and the Portuguese, right?
Okay.
And so, be the Spanish, they due to our ancestors and our current complexion, right? They associated us with Negro, okay, and they applied, you know, to distinguish us from the Africans. Our American people distinguished our American people from the Africans. They called us Negro de Terra versus the Africans, who was known as Negro de Guinea.
Ooh.
All right. So definitely, you know, we definitely gotta correct all this incorrect information that has been intentionally designed to pretty much denationalize, to strip us of our heritage, of our traditions, our culture, our customs, etc. You know what I mean? This is a very you know, important subject matter that is past due, in my opinion.
So we're saying basically Black history was given to you guys. It was given to us, right? And then the difference is the Black history was given to us. The American history is your family, your genealogy, learning who you are, learning what happened to your people. Is that what we're is that how we're, you know, distinguishing that Black history versus the American history?
Yeah, I would say that, but at the same time, you know, there's a variable here, whereas you did have real Black people, all right, that was shipped here from Europe. They gave us, they tell us currently and in the past generations via this foreign education system that Africans was brought here directly from Africa. That's not true. They was brought from Europe because the Africans had gone into Europe back in the second century AD with the Romans. Okay. And so when we have people that colonized Europe, right? back in the 2nd century, and then there was a lot of turmoil, conflicts, warfare, slavery, and all types of corrupt things was taking place. Now, fast forward, those descendants from 2nd century AD, now the tables had turned on them, right? They're no longer in certain positions of authority. You know, they were vassals of countries such as Spain and other European nations, and then they were shipped over here as well.
Okay.
So those are the real black people. Those are the original Negroes. You know, I can show you how the word Moor. We have people that call themselves Moors. They say the Moors are known for saying black has no standing in law. Well, Moor is synonymous with Negro. Negro means black.
Gotcha.
So they have their own history.
Yeah, man. Man, I love it. Like, this is definitely what we need to talk about. So let's talk about black, right? I had a conversation with a sister. I had a conversation with a sister on my YouTube, on my Facebook page, right? So basically she was saying, well, I don't think we should get rid of the word black completely. Because if, you know, in the early writings and things, this is how they described us or things like that. What I was telling her is, sis, there's no way around this. It's really no way around this. Black has never done anything for us. Black doesn't attach you to a land. It doesn't attach you to a nation. There's not even a flag for black. Like, there's nothing that being black does to help us, right? So how do you feel about someone telling us, hey, you know, I don't think we should throw it out completely. You know, why would we need to keep being called black, especially if we can look at ourselves and tell that we're not black? But why would we need to hold on to being black or being called black? Is there a reason?
Bones, you wanna go for it?
Yeah, I'll touch on it. To me, honestly, there's no reason to hold on to the term. You know, because you have to ask yourself this term, this status that was applied upon you, what came with it? What came with it? You get what I'm saying? Is it a legal term? Are there laws under this word for you? Are there protections under this phrase and status for you? I mean, to me, these are the first things you have to ask yourself. Then once you start realizing that, hold up, this is just a descriptive term that's been passed around to people, why hold on to it?
Yeah, I see no hold on to it.
Yeah, and then I would add to that, you know, in my book I define what's called a caste system. All right. So basically the situation with the caste system is at the bottom, you have this category or this classification of black. Okay. I can show that in a moment. Matter of fact, let me see if I get the screen share working. Let me see here. Let me get this thing up real quick.
And while you're looking for that, can you tell them where you're pulling this from? Like I said, Tomahawk Tony is an author. He's an American Indian author. He has a book out, and I'm gonna let him tell you about his book too. You know.
Yeah. So basically, the Spanish, well, pretty much all the foreigners in their countries of origin, they have a caste system. Caste, you have a caste and you have a class. All right. So you have different, you have people that are designated for places for certain positions in society. All right. So let me locate these pages real quick. Where are we at? One moment here. No, that's not it. Just want you to be able to see what's going on here.
So what we're dealing with right now, for anybody just checking in, we're dealing with the term black. Is there any reason to still hold on to this term black? What does black give us? How has it helped us? Some people say we shouldn't throw it out all the way because it's, you know, in the earlier days, this is how people described us. So the brother Tomahawk Tony he's getting ready to dig into that a little bit and tell us about that.
Yeah. So can you all see my screen?
I see it, brother.
Okay, great. So this section here, this is I believe the second section of my book, right? Chief Teregwa, he included some great research because you know his people is Borican, Arawak, out the Caribbean. You know what's called today Puerto Rico, right? So we have what's called the Spanish/European caste system, and what I did was I put this with the symbolism of, you know, everyone, or you know, all the celebrities, politicians, various people of influence. They have thrown up the image of a triangle, right?
Okay.
With their fingers, a hand symbol, right? And so to me, that represents this caste system. All right. And you can look this up. So basically, in the initial periods of colonization, it says here Spaniards, phenotypically quote unquote white individuals born in Spain, they was at the top of the caste system being introduced here in the Americas. Then you had beneath them those in which were called criollos. They were offsprings of the Spaniards that were born in the Americas. Beneath them, you had the mestizos, people of mixed European and indigenous ancestries. So that basically is saying you have people from Europe mixing with indigenous people. That would make them mestizos, and they were pretty little above everyone else, but they was below the Spaniards and the criollos. Then you had the mulattoes. Mulattoes originally are people of mixed European and African ancestries. Beneath them, you have the Zambos, people of mixed indigenous and African ancestries. Then you have indigenous, phenotypically of indigenous descent. And then at the very bottom of the list, you have the African, phenotypically of African descent. Okay. So that's one example of the caste system in the social structure. All right. It goes in this other one I show, it goes into a little more detail. The Europeans born on the Iberian Peninsula from Spain and Portugal, they were known as peninsulares. All right. They was at the very top as we were just reading, right? Beneath them, you had the Creoles, also called criollos. Then you have the mestizos. They're on the same level as the mulattoes. And then at the very bottom of this particular chart, it's saying the Indians and the Africans, they was on the same level in regards to the foreigner's view of a caste system being applied and introduced to the Americas. Okay. And so, you know, I have these images here where you have, as I mentioned a moment ago, celebrities, people of influence that throw up these hand symbols.
Yeah.
And so when for me, I pay attention to symbology, and at the end of the day, you have the white at the top of the caste system, right? Then at the bottom, you have the black. And so when people want to hold on to being at the bottom, it doesn't make sense to me. When we have the truth of the matter, whereas this is our land for one, we have an inheritance for two, we have a duty for three, we have authority. But as long as we want to be beneath the foreigners that are brought here, we don't have none of that.
Wow.
And this is the intention.
Wow.
That is the intention.
That's deep. I've never heard it put like that. So basically,
Tony, I had a quick question.
Okay.
You mentioned something about Iberian Peninsula, and for the audience, I just put something up for them. The Iberian Peninsula, as they called it back then, today would be known as North Africa, correct?
I can't agree with that. No.
Yeah, he said he can't agree with that.
Yeah, peninsula is not
the top countries. No, I'm talking the countries that they consider North Africa today. At that time, of the time that you're reading from, at that time, them countries at the Iberian Peninsula, part of them countries.
No, this what I just showed, it specifically references Spain and Portugal.
You froze, Bomb? It looked like you kind of froze.
No, you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 2 1 2.
I hear you now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's all I was pointing out. That the parts that they call North Africa. Back then, when you look at the Spanish,
That was considered the peninsula?
I think you keep freezing up. You went out on this, Bomb. Yeah, I think his microphone is
Okay.
it's acting up on him. He might have to go out and come back in.
Okay. But yeah, you know, for a person to want to attach themselves to a color black, right? I mean, to hold on to it. Well, when you look at yourself in the mirror throws it out, right?
Right.
By default. So it doesn't, it's in my mind, right? It is the fact we have people that are actively lying to themselves.
Gotcha.
And they're lying to themselves due to the hypnosis that foreigners have projected onto our people. Just like we have this Black History Month situation, right?
Talk about it.
Where's the black at? Where is it?
That's right.
Now, if we look at the actual definition, and what I mean by the definition, the actual synonyms.
Yes.
The actual synonyms of black. Okay, you have the word calamitous. Well, throughout our communities that have been that accepted this black identity, right? Well, there's a lot of calamitous behavior. You have another synonym of disastrous. Our communities are in a disastrous state right now. You have another synonym of sad and miserable.
Why would you want to attach yourself to that?
Because it's quote unquote trendy. It's been popularized. Foreigners have invested in this from the point of their arrival. As I mentioned a moment ago, they identified our American people in some instances as Negro de Terra.
Okay.
Negro means black. And so when we accept the foreign language before our own, when we accept the foreign perception of ourselves before our own natural perception of ourselves, that creates a problem. This is what I consider to be identity crisis.
So let me ask you this question. How did we go from the definitions being changed? Because the original definition of black meant pale, right?
That's one of the definitions. You have the definition of without color.
Okay. And to lighten, right? Wasn't that? Okay. I'm not looking at the definition. I'm just trying to go off memory. So how do we? So from the way I'm looking at this is either way we look at it, whether it's the original definition on into this definition. Now, why would we want to attach ourselves to that?
Because it's been invested in. People, what they say, you can't teach your old dog new tricks, right? We have a lot of quote unquote old dogs. People that have, I mean, okay, I'll put it like this, right? Imagine telling someone that has accepted, they received funding as a quote unquote black minority business owner for years. I've worked with, I've had clients that have been quote unquote black business owners for 40 years. Right?
Right.
For them, they've invested in themselves being a quote unquote black business owner. When you talk to them about their ancestry, they know about their ancestry, but they're like, oh, I'm a black Indian. No, you are an Indian. You're not a black Indian. Who told you that you're black? Before there was a black Indian, it was an Indian, right?
That's right. That's right.
They didn't, the foreigners called us black savages. They called us simply savages. I'll show you text where it says infidels. So all of these terms in which they applied upon our people, onto our people, these are all negative terms. And these terms were designed for the foreigners' perception of us, so that they will view us in a negative, from a negative perspective.
Standpoint. Right.
And they will treat us negatively.
Wow.
And so when
Let me
we
check and see
have
if the brother is back in real quick. Bones, you back? Are you back? I see your page up. I'm just trying to see if we can hear you. Maybe his page is still froze. Okay, go ahead, brother. Okay, there we go. We hear you. I just wanted to check and see if you was back in. I didn't know if you were trying to chime in or if you were still muted. Like I say, y'all, please bear with us. This is our first time doing this with this program on this page, so we may have some technical difficulties with this. But go ahead, Tomahawk, man. You was going in, man. I totally agree with you, though. I can't.
Yeah, it's all good.
I can't say we'll still attach ourselves to this once we know. They say once you know better, you should do better. You know,
that's right.
That's what we're told. So why would we still, once we know this, either way you look at this definition of this word, it does not fit us at
Absolutely
all.
Not. It doesn't. And you know, see, I have an issue with this because, you know, first and foremost, you know, I did a series a few years back, I believe that was on 2017, I think it was. I titled it Defamation of Character. When you have someone, right, like I'm using the example of you have a daughter and a son, right? Okay. Your daughter and son, they're taught the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and they're taught their colors, right?
Right.
So you tell your daughter and son, like, okay, daughter and son, this is the color red, blue, green, orange, purple, brown, and here's black. And here's the color white as well, crayons. Right. Okay? And now here it is. Your daughters and sons go outside, right? And they come back home like, mommy, daddy, they said I'm black, but I'm brown. How am I black?
That's right. But even kids say this. Even kids say this to their parents. That's not black, mommy. That's brown.
Exactly. and how ignorant is this for the fact that we have quote unquote melanated, self-identified black people that have a history at this point of lying to multiple generations of our youth.
And it's doing nothing but keeping the cycle going.
Absolutely.
Well, one of the other questions I wanted to ask you about. Okay, the brother Bone said he's having bad weather issues where he's at. So that's what's going on with him. One of the things I wanted to ask, I feel like our people really like to hold on to the stories of being oppressed or the history of being oppressed. So I've had a brother who I was talking to on my Facebook page also. And one thing he was, talking about was he doesn't care about the fact that he wants reparations, basically. He wants reparations. He wants compensation, because I'm just trying to tie in the American history with the Black history thing. So he's dealing with Black history right now. He wants reparations, right? And compensations for slavery and what our people went through and woo, right? So I had another brother who posted that even so-called Black people owned white slaves. They had white slaves too, but they also enslaved their own people too, other Black people, right? So what I was asking him was, who do you want reparations from? Who do you want it from? Like, because you do know some of your own people helped enslave your own people, and some of your own people enslaved us themselves. So are you only looking for, because I feel like a lot of us like to play this victim role. We like to hold on to this victim role, and we can't uprise because we gotta hold on to the slavery story, and we gotta hold on to what oppressed us. And what I was trying to show the brother is this: who you want the reparations from? Who you want the compensation from? You don't want it from your ancestors who enslaved your other ancestors. Like, you don't want it from them. You just want it from the white man, right? You don't. I said, isn't that kind of what we do today? Isn't that kind of the same thing we do today? We hurt each other in our communities. We do each other dirty, and we sweep it under the rug. We don't want to talk about that. But as soon as the white man come in our neighborhood and do the same thing that we're already doing to each other, then we want to cry victim. Oh, and we need, and this is racist, and we need, this is, you know, how y'all treated our ancestors and stuff. But you don't want to talk about how your own people treated your ancestors too. What do you think about this, brother? Like, what do you think about this?
I think, you know, people need to gain perspective for themselves and assess you know, actual events before making assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, falsely condemning someone, right? Of a crime. You know what I'm saying? That is wrong. And there's penalties for that, you know. Now, in regards to the subject matter of reparations specifically, first and foremost, you have to be able to prove that you are owed reparations. That's an actual claim. You have to have a effective claim. It's not something that you can just assume because, oh, you hear some random quote unquote black people talking about it. The same quote unquote black people talking about, they haven't gotten it for themselves.
Okay, so what? So let me give you some specifics on what he was saying. Okay. He said we were robbed of inventions. This is what he said. The point is, Native black people on this land were robbed of their inventions. They were enslaved. They were tortured and murdered. Yet we're the only people who were never compensated for such oppressions. It's old. He said Asians were compensated for their role in war. Holocaust victims were compensated. $5 Indians were compensated. You know, and he said, I can keep going. So this was the point he was trying to make. When it comes to, he feels like he don't care about what our people did to us. He just cares about what the white man did to us. And these were the reasons that he gave.
Yeah, I understand his perspective. I definitely understand that. But at the same time, though, you know, his perspective can also be met by various breeds of foreigners that also haven't been compensated.
And that was my point. That was my point, Tony. I was trying to explain to him, listen, brother, we're not the only people who went through this. We're not the only people that went through slavery. We're not the only people, you know what I'm saying, who went through torture and murder. I said, people, this was going on before us. I said, slavery was big business all around the world. And then you kind of have to think about this too. If we're going to say we were the majority people, the original people all around the world, all over this planet, wouldn't it make sense that it was some of our own people that enslaved us?
I mean, see. Well, I disagree with that statement there. All right. I don't agree with the indigenous to the world.
Okay.
Theories.
Okay.
Now specifically, you know, certainly, I'm gonna give you an example of what I'm aware of here in the Americas, right?
Okay.
In some nations, cultures, their customs, their laws, their traditions, etc., right? Let's say me and you, right?
Okay.
Let's say me and you are of the same nation, or we are of neighboring nations, right? And let's say me and you was to get into a conflict, and you was to kill me, right?
Right.
It's customary for you to, your energy now would be pretty much put in place to cover my loss. The resources, all the resources that I would have provided for my nation, well, now you inherited that. You now have to provide those resources for my people now.
Okay.
Since you killed me. And so in regards to quote unquote slavery, I mean, to this day in countries like China, right? And this is ancient history here.
Yes.
They have they have literal generational debt where generations of people have to work off that debt, and it is pure slave labor. Pure.
Yeah. You're right.
Whereas X amount of generations from now, yeah, your debt will be paid to whoever they owe that debt to. So I mean, with slavery, right? People need to understand the dynamics of it. Now, when we consider kidnapping, okay, because that's what was going on here in the Americas. I have text I can show you about that, right? Where foreigners came here, they have a history of kidnapping each other. They was doing that forever. The Moors was kidnapping Europeans, Europeans kidnapping Moors. They was trading each other. You know, you got the Persians doing it. You got every breed of foreigner across the world. They was doing that in their world. They
still doing it today.
Absolutely,
still doing it today.
The human trafficking
still going on today.
Human trafficking, yes, absolutely. Yes. People could go on YouTube right now and pull up videos of Africans as slaves right now.
I just watched it yesterday. I was just watching documentaries on it yesterday. That's what I'm telling him. Like, this is going on. Go ahead, brother.
But yeah, so here in America, you know, our claim is different because here in America, right, there was no just war. Okay, you initially had the papal bull, the Inter Caetera of 1493, which was rescinded in 1537, where it says blatantly, right, that it is forbidden to enslave the Indians, deprive them of their property, etc. Let me see if I can show that text. Because our claims are different. We are in a very unique position than other people in the world. Very unique position. And this is why, you know, you have foreigners that want to insert themselves into our American identity. We have a status of freedom in which no one else in the world has. Because as I mentioned a moment ago, a lot of foreigners, they come from a culture which upholds slavery.
Gotcha.
And I'm talking about, as I said a moment ago, generational slavery. It's not just oh yeah, you're just going to work for me 7 years or 13 years or what have you. No, this is like long-term enslavement. Hold on, I'm coming to the text. Almost there. Give me one moment. Oh, this is the page extract stuff. Is this the right one? Yes, here we go. This is the right one. Okay. So yeah, we have this text right here. This is the papal bull Symbolism of 1537. The said Indians and all other people who may later be discovered by Christians are by no means to be deprived of their liberty or the possession of their property, even though they be outside the faith of Jesus Christ, and that they may and should freely and legitimately enjoy their liberty and the possession of their property, nor should they be in any way enslaved. Should the contrary happen, it shall be made null. It shall be null and have no effect. But then this is the dynamics of that, right? Let me see. We have another text here. Here it is. So as I mentioned, these are extracts here, right? I've done it in a hidden colored series I recently did. I showed all of this text here in detail, but we're going to go right here to this middle section where it says exclusive access to the Indians of the interior, lamenting that the Sertao that they call patos is open to every Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short, who wishes to go there to attack and conquer and capture the Indians to later sell them where and to whom they please. Were it not for the Jesuits, they argue, the Indians will be left in the mouth of the devil and in the claws of the whites. Okay? So this is in regards to events taking place in the early to mid 1600s now. This is a whole 100 years after the issuing of the papal bull Sublimis Deus, which rescinded the Inter Caetera. So the situation is this: when we have people that do not understand the actual dynamics of their own ancestry, like I can't, this person who asked you this question, I can't say that they don't know their own old tradition pertaining to their people, or that they may have or may not have records pertaining to their people being enslaved. But the situation is you did have Indians here in North America alone that was sending their boys to foreigners to be apprentices.
Facts.
As a result of that, that makes their daughter or son an indentured servant. Indentured servant, that's synonymous with slave.
Wow.
But that's why genealogy is so important when you're dealing with this, because to tie back into what you and Tony was saying, you have to prove it. And if you don't do genealogy, how do you know what side your family actually did play?
Yes.
You can be a descendant of someone that was actually selling and sending Indians. And that's not saying if that's what your family did 200 years ago, that's who you are today. No, everybody got the right to choose their own path. But we got to be cautious on what we claim and make sure whatever it is we're going to claim that we can prove it without a shadow of a doubt.
No, that's one of the things I was trying to tell, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what your people did. You get what I'm saying? If you haven't dug into your family, you don't know. You might have slave owners. You might have, your people might have had a whole plantation of people. You just don't know. You know what I'm saying? You're going off of what was told to you. Your ancestors, who do you want the reparations from? And then you have to be able to attach yourself to that. You have to
I can use my own personal genealogy. That's like me trying to make that claim. But my genealogy shows me that half of my family, the Bunches and the Collins, they were fair-skinned enough. They were able to go towards the north and pass as white.
Wow.
So if you these cases, some of y'all be suing yourself.
Wow. Again, that's kind of what I was trying to tell the brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? And this is kind of what I was saying. Who do you want reparations from? Who do you want compensation from? Because what if it was your people that was some of the people that enslaved others? Who do you want the reparations from? Who do you want the compensation from? But that's when I said, we'll sweep that under the rug, though. We'll sweep those things under the rug, just like we do today, in today's time.
Now add this dynamic, Callie. I mean, let's keep this 100. There's a very slim chance you're going to find somebody that's 100% Indian. Come on, we need to stop this right now.
That's right.
So when you do your genealogy, you're going to find Europeans and other people in your genealogy. That's your family. I don't care if you don't like them or not. You can't change that. That's why it's very important to know who you are, to know what was done before you just go out here trying to claim things that get you in more trouble than before you got started.
No, you're definitely right. You're definitely right. I just want to take a quick second, man. Thank you to everybody who is still chilling in here with us. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is our first time on this page. We're looking to build this page and have more builds like this, man. I want to thank Tomahawk Tony for stepping in, and I want to thank my brother Bones for stepping in. I definitely wanted to have this conversation with these two brothers and more conversations with these brothers and my brother Wild Indian and Chief Netcher and some other people in the community, because we have to start having these conversations and we have to start looking to move forward. We have to start looking to move forward and put action behind what we know belongs to us and what we have that comes to us. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely want to thank you, brothers, for joining me, and also everyone who's still in here in the chat. You know, as we do more of these builds, you know, more people will know we're here. You know, go ahead, Tomahawk Tony. I see you got something on the screen you want to go in about.
Yeah, give me one moment here. I'm about to pull something up. Let me just go back though. I'm gonna pull that one in a moment. Now I want to add this to what Bone said a moment ago, right? About, you know, people mixing, right? Certainly, mixing did take place, as it's taking place today. I have a presentation coming up where I'm going to be addressing the infant mortality rates and how this has been omitted. The truth of this has been omitted from actual events, because for one thing, Foreign blood doesn't mix well with our people's blood. Our American women's bodies naturally reject foreign genetics. It was in the 1940s, if I recall correctly, they developed a shot called Rogam. A lot of foreigners, they carry RH blood.
Mm. Mm.
Now, next to that is, I can only speak for myself, and I can speak in regards to people I've assisted with their genealogy. Myself and many others in which I work with, we are of mixed Aboriginal American Indian nations.
Okay.
Through my genealogy, I count at least 6. You see? And then we factor in our ancestors have had long relations throughout these Americas. But now I want to jump to this definition over here. This is master and servant.
Okay.
It says an employer-employee relationship, and I believe this is from the Barron's Law Dictionary. Shout outs to Historyreal. You can find him on Instagram. He shared this research, these quotes here, this particular citation, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, right, on Instagram. So master and servant, an employer-employee relationship. Key words here: master and servant. Employer is the master, servant being the employee. So once again, let's think about an indentured servant, right? Let's think about ownership of who you hired, right? Corporate policies, etc., right? Let's continue here. It says a relation that develops from an express or implied employment contract between a master or employer and the servant or employee. The servant is expected to perform services, usually for salary, and is under the master's control. While servant sometimes refers specifically to hired help in domestic matters, in its broadest sense, the term refers to a person of any rank or position who is subject to the control of another. Such a relationship is distinguished from that of an independent contractor, who is not under the employer's direct control, but serves the employer only as to the results of his work and not as to the method by which the work is done. Essentially, the power to control is the test in determining whether a master and servant relationship exists. The power to control. Okay?
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna fast forward a little bit in this. It says, under the master and servant relationship, the master will be liable for the actions of his servant committed while the servant was acting within the scope of his employment. Okay. So when we think about slavery, right, we're thinking about it from a foreign media manufactured standpoint.
Right.
Many people have not spoken to real life elders who can pass on the oral tradition, tell the true stories of what their ancestors told them in regards to seeing and knowing or experiencing slavery firsthand.
That's right.
And then on top of that, right, I shared some information. I put in the book also. And I did a presentation some years back. You have a book. It's titled Journey to Pennsylvania in the year 1750, right? Where here it is, you have this author who's writing from Germany, right? He traveled from Germany in the year 1750, and he left in 1754. And he's describing what he saw. Where here it is, you had Germans, you had people from Europe that were literally being kidnapped. In some instances, other people were being deceived into going to the Americas. On the ships, they would get robbed of all of their possessions.
Wow.
These European women, some of them was pregnant, and they couldn't. They give birth on a ship, and their baby dies, and oftentimes the woman dies too.
Wow.
And they're pushed through the portholes of the ship. We're talking about severe abuses before this ship even arrives to America, if it doesn't shipwreck en route to America from Europe, right? Now, next to that is this. They had to pay to get off the ship. If you could not pay to get off the ship, you was in debt, and as a result, you become a debt slave.
Right.
What would take place at this point now, as a debt slave, well, or someone who's in debt, you had is documented. You had men that were selling their women and their children into slavery to pay that debt,
Facts.
to get off the ship.
But y'all want to know the part that most people miss? Just real quick, Tony.
So
if these indentured servants, these debt slaves are coming to America, who do you think they working for?
Hold on, my bad. I was reading some of the last comments in the chat. Say that one more time.
No, I was just asking the question to a lot of these debt servants that owed, that couldn't pay, and they had to work it off. What do they think a lot of them was working for?
Yeah.
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 And so I see here in the chat we have indigenous Accomac. They're asked, or they say here, they comment, reparation has nothing to do with who enslaved. It had to do with invasions and possession. The fact is they compensated people who have no claims in America. This is another variable. Let me add this to this equation too. So once upon a time ago, you had something called the Virginia Company, the Plymouth Company, Georgia Company, Tennessee Company. You had the Rhode Island Company. You had a series of foreign companies that later became quote unquote states, which are still companies / corporations to this day, right?
Wow.
Yep, municipalities.
Once upon a time ago, these companies, they came together and they was called the union companies, right? So now that we have the union companies that merged to a degree or what have you, and they became the United States. They went from union companies to the United States. Exactly who owes you reparations?
Ooh.
Which of these companies, colonial companies, by the way,
Ooh.
because the companies have just created a whole new separate entity now.
That's not liable for what they did. Now you see why they did the United States, because it was a union. Because who had skill sets on this homeland of ours? Let's have this conversation since Tony opened the door.
Yeah.
Who had the skill set? We did.
That's
so
right.
What they did is they got together, started forming work unions to carve out their position.
Wow.
Don't let Hollywood fool you with that root story, y'all. Yes, slavery happened, but don't let Hollywood fool you. It was work, job.
And this is why I feel like this conversation is needed, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We are talking about Black history versus American history. We're talking about a lot of things that they didn't teach us, they wouldn't teach us, and that they think we would never know. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with these topics. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm sitting here and I'm learning a lot too. And listen, brothers, don't be, if you see something in the comments, hey, feel free to answer anything you see in the comments. That's no problem.
I appreciate that.
That's no problem. So if you want to touch on anything someone's saying in there, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I want to continue. Okay.
Oh, just real quick, I want to say before you continue, and we got to remember what they did. They gave us a form of history that's compact to make it seem like everything happened at the same time, that the theft of the land, slavery, no. The majority of this land got taken from us during the first and second confiscation acts. See, a lot of this property didn't get seized until after the Civil War, when they came into the South, and any family that was suspected of helping the South, they seized your property, land, and whatever you had. That's when the majority of the land theft started happening.
Absolutely, I agree. Now, I do want to continue with the presentation, get other subject matter, but I would like to continue answering or responding to Indigenous Acomac's comments. They commented here. The second comment is, as a matter of fact, let me finish with the first comment. They said the fact is they compensated people who have no claims in America. The situation is you have particular parties, right, that had specific claims against other specific parties, and this is why they were compensated. See, people need to take time to study this legal system. That's the situation here. You know, I have a text over here. Let me locate it real quick.
So that's what we're dealing with. It's the legal system.
Yeah, no, check this out. This is from former President James Buchanan's book, right? So he says here, letters has been the only hindrance to their being, politically speaking, a most powerful people, with the faculty of circulating and improving their natural information by means of literature. They would either not have been objects for the crafty arts of civilized man, or they would have been invulnerable to them and never could have been driven from their territories. This is in reference to our ancestors who we didn't know their language. We didn't understand commerce. We didn't understand their books and their quote unquote laws. We had our own. These are points of exploitation here. Now, some people may be aware and others may not be aware, but they translated their Bible into the Choctaw language, into the Algonquin language, and many other languages, so that they can infuse in the minds of our people their foreign beliefs.
Wow.
There's a story that we shared on the Hidden Colored series a few weeks ago, right? You know, shout out to Chief No Yamina for sharing this, by the way. This is out of the Northeast, the Wampanoag, Narragansett Indians, right? You had Metacomet, okay, who the British decided to identify as King Philip. In choosing to identify this American Indian chief by the name of King Philip, they planted in the minds of their British subjects to view this Indian chief the same way they should view the Spanish king who Britain was at war with, whose name was really King Philip. Okay? Now, this is a situation here on a legal situation, right? This is a situation here where you have the fact that these Indians wake up one day and there's this horrific smell. And so they trace the smell on an island. They see a whole bunch of pigs. Some foreigner decided that, they was going to plant their pigs on this island. So what King Philip did, Metacomet did, he went ahead and he filed some legal paperwork like, yo, get these pigs out of here. They don't belong on that land. Well, the foreigners, they didn't want to acknowledge the situation, so what to do? The Indians, they killed all the pigs. Now what the foreigners did, well, they made a claim against the Indians. Were the Indians ready for that during this period? I don't know. But these are the dynamics of this foreign law that was introduced. I mean, certain agreements were made with different parties. Let me see what we have here. Because Akamak is asking a lot of questions here. They got a lot of comments.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's my sister. That might be my sister. Lisa Cypress. That might be.
Yeah, that's
Lisa. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, my sister. She does the Indian Summit up in Virginia. The Akamak.
Yeah. That's what I always say. Yeah, that's why I always say that there's no such thing as one universal history. It would change from family to family, tribe to tribe, individual to individual. That's why your personal history is that much more important. Because what happened in my family might not be the same situation in your family.
Gotcha.
Okay, so Lisa, I'll tell you this. I have a guy who can assist you with tort claims to secure your land. I work with people that deal with this. So if hold on, my bad. One of my guys is hitting me. 1 second. Yo, Standard Rock, how you?
Yeah, I do. I think that's very important.
Hey, I'm in the middle of live right now because I hit you back.
You know your family because I know when me and my cousin he takes us in our genealogy, man, and we learned a lot about our family that we had no idea about. I'm talking about grandfathers that was in wars and all type of things that, so yeah, we definitely need to know that genealogy and digging into them records is very important in everyone's family, you know, because like you said, what my people went through may not be the same as what your people went through.
Yeah, and see, you know, everyone's situation is different. Like, I'm reading Indigenous Acamac's comment here, and they're saying that that is true, but when your land was stole varies. The Acamac land was taken back in 1630. Well, if you have particular records showing this, then you absolutely have a claim. You know, and see, you know, it's certain choices and decisions that have to be made when it comes to land claims. You know what I'm saying? We have some people that's like, I just want the land back. Well, for some people, they have an entire university on their land now. They're not about to take down this university overnight. That university's been standing there. Let's say a university has been present since 1600s, right? That university is huge by now. Many acres with many thousands of people going in and out that university every year. There's a lot of money involved. Certain agreements can be made that could be to the benefit of the descendants of these people who are heirs to this land. I mean, these are the dynamics here. You know what I mean? And having you know a healthy fundamental awareness of law is what's missing here. We have, you know, I was speaking to someone earlier where, you know, I'm like, yo, see, the problem is with these quote unquote black people that are legal professionals, right? They're attorneys and lawyers and all of that, right? Well, guess what? They don't inform our people of particular things, particular elements of law. They are present in actively exploiting our people. What they say, the game is to be sold, not told, right? Well, it's not a game when your existence is on the line, where foreigners have documented how they want to annihilate, to exterminate, and to make the American Indian extinct. I can show you that text also. Right.
When you yeah, you could definitely pull that up. And I'm jumping back and forth between, you know, the so-called Black history and American history. So with my question, and I'm kind of jumping back and forth. When you get a chance, you can pull that up and then go ahead, brother.
Think it is. When did Black history start? I'm just saying.
True.
I believe Black history would have started somewhere over there in Africa somewhere. Because if we look at ancient and modern Britons, their Black history starts a very long time ago. It had nothing to do with America.
Yeah, you know, these are things that I wanted to, you know, touch on, you know what I'm saying? And especially, like I said, you could still pull up your clip. I just like things like controlled opposition, about how they're giving us our heroes to celebrate. And then why, you know, our people who are not being acknowledged. You know, and I know you wanted to touch on, I know that was one of the things you wanted to touch on, Tomahawk Tony, our people who are not being acknowledged, period. Yeah. Not just during Black History Month, just period. In American history. American history is every day.
That's right. And we have chiefs that were born every day. We have our own, I don't like to use the term deities, but we have our own spiritual beings that are not being acknowledged. I have some quotes about that in a moment also, but I'm gonna read you here. This is Chief Osceola, right? This is a quote from Harper's Weekly, June 12, 1858. Much appreciation to Historial, who also shared this research. I put together the picture some time ago, but Historial got the quote from Chief Osceola, so I put it together. Chief Osceola is quoted as saying, "Am I a Negro, a slave? I am an Indian. The white man shall not make me black." This is Chief Osceola saying, "The white man shall not make me black." He continues saying, "I will make the white man red with blood, and then blacken him in the sun and rain, where the wolf shall smell his bones, and the vulture live upon his flesh."
Wow. That's
you know, why would this chief say this to be quoted as saying this back in 1858.
Yeah, that's
because Negro and slave is synonymous. He says, "Am I a Negro,
Yes,
comma, a
it
slave?"
wow.
And a Negro was not black. Once again, is a Negro, also a caste system. Anybody could have been called a Negro once upon a time ago.
And you know, it proves that. I think I had this conversation with you before, Kelly. When you look at the U.S. Census, you didn't have Chinese on the U.S. Census until 1870. So before the year of 1870, Chinese either got identified as white or black. They were either considered white or Negro before 1870.
Wow.
Remember, they put everybody, the original census, it only started what? Free white males over a certain age, free white women over a certain age, all others free and slaves. So no matter what you identify with at that time, you got put in one of them categories.
Wow. Black history versus American history.
I'm trying to remember what I was going to show y'all a moment ago.
It slipped my mind too. I wasn't. That's what I wasn't trying to do, is get you to forget what you were trying to pull up. You know, but
I mentioned quite a few things. But matter of fact, hold on. We have this text right here. Matter of fact, yeah, here we go. So this is also once again from former President James Buchanan's book, right? Sketches and Manners of the North American Indian, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in so everyone can see this clearly.
All right.
Now, I shared this text some years ago also, but yeah, I'm gonna take it from the top here. With but few exceptions, the American Indians have been abandoned by the Christian world as a cruel, bloodthirsty, and treacherous race, incapable of civilization, and therefore unworthy of that attention which the inhabitants of other barbarous climes have received from the zeal and devotion of many learned and pious members of society, have raised their voices against the wrongs of our black brethren of Africa. From one end of Europe to the other, the humane have been aroused to a sense of their injuries and are now actively engaged in the prosecution of every measure calculated to alleviate their sufferings, while but few have been stimulated to similar exertions in behalf of the red American Indians. Now, once again, when they say red during this time, red is brown.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
It's red is copper colored, if you will.
Gotcha.
So continuing, red American Indians, from whose native soil the wealth of a great portion of the civilized world has been derived. The African is submissive. His patient endurance of labor renders his servile and debased state important to us. He is therefore preserved. The North American Indian, on the contrary, prefers banishment and even death to slavery. But his lands are serviceable to us. Therefore, his extinction seems to be desired.
So we're saying the Africans were more submissive, and the Indians were ready to fight.
Absolutely. I mean, to take someone from a natural state of freedom, right? To impose on them the lack of their freedom, there's going to be resistance. The resistance is going to be natural. See, the difference is, right, in regards to the African, they have been conditioned for slavery for many centuries.
Facts.
We're talking about an entire millennium plus.
Majority of them wasn't even coming from
over 1,000 years. They have been conditioned.
Yeah, they wasn't coming directly from Africa. Once you get into the records, they were coming from Spain. They had to be raised as Christians. They were not taking no born people off of that continent and bringing them directly to the Americas. And the part of history that all you need to do is look up the Crusades. These Catholics these Christians, they were afraid of bringing Muslims over here. So when they got Africans, them first generation Africans, they couldn't come. They would take them to Spain. Then the children of these Africans will be raised as Christians. Then they can come to the Americas. They wasn't bringing, this is their own, out of the Spanish records. This is their own words.
That's the truth. And so I want to continue here, right? It says, in a few ages, perhaps a few years, these sons of Edom. See, when we look at these old texts, right, it's very important to pay attention and observe how the foreigners was debating amongst themselves on how to categorize our origins, because they didn't know our origins here in America. And so they all was up under their foreign Christian beliefs. And so this is why in this text here, they're referencing these sons of Edoms in regards to these American Indians, right? So I just want to add that for clarity.
Right.
Now continue, it says, these sons of Edom, but I would say these sons of America will be so far removed from the reach or eye of any but those engaged in the work of destruction that no trace will be left to posterity. Now let's analyze this text here. Our American people will be so far removed from the reach or eye of any but those engaged in the work of our American people's destruction, that no trace will be left to our posterity. Our posterity means our daughters and sons of the wrongs which have been perpetuated upon the Aborigines of the great American continent. That's what this text is saying here. We see the condition of our daughters and sons just in recent generations alone, right? They're not aware of the wrongs that have been perpetuated against their own ancestors.
Right.
They don't know the specific parties, the companies, the agents, the servants, their masters. They don't know exactly who did what.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, man. Gosh, this is I'm just sitting here listening, like, this is very informative, man. You know, and I told y'all, man, like, these are the conversations we got to start having, man. We really got to start having these conversations, man. And this is a reason why too. Tomahawk Tony, you and I had talked, and one of the things you definitely wanted to, touch on that you told me was, you hate the fact that a lot of our people are not being acknowledged. And if you want to go in on that, feel free, step into that also, because you was definitely bringing up some points to me, talking about the Seminoles and other people. Like, we don't talk about these people, and this is why our people don't know our history. We don't even talk about it.
That's right. And I appreciate this opportunity. I've been wanting to participate in dialogues of this nature.
Oh man,
for some time now.
Man, you're doing great, man. Man, this is so informative, man. You and the brother Bones, man, together, man. This is amazing to me. I'm enjoying myself, man. Listen, wherever you want to jump in at, man, go ahead, man. I just remember our previous conversation offline. And this is something we were talking about when we were dealing with so-called Black History Month. And you were very passionate about that, about the fact that it's a lot of our people that aren't being acknowledged. And you wanted to speak on it. And here we are, brother. Here we are.
Word. And so, here in my book, I counted over 1,040 tribes and nations, right?
Wow.
And I'm not saying this is all of them at all. I'm not saying that. For example, although Algonquin is a language, it also was descriptive of multiple nations of our people. I don't have the map in front of me right now, but I was shared this information some years back. Whereas, Chata, the Chata Nation, right?
Okay.
It spanned from what's known as Florida to New York to Illinois, down to Texas.
Wow.
once upon a time ago.
Wow. Yeah, that was definitely something you had mentioned to me offline. And
Yeah, I gotta I meant to locate that. I have old drives. I gotta pull up I gotta go through research to locate some of these old texts and all of that. But basically, we have no one tells our youth about our nations.
wow. You're so right.
Generations go by. And this is 1040. Is this not something for our youth to be aware of
Definitely.
throughout the year?
Definitely. And see, this is one of the reasons I say, even though we're online teaching this, even though this is being presented online, those of us who consider ourselves teachers of the information, we have to start getting in our community and bringing our people together in our community to a location to where we can sit down with our people. Our people can see us and we can teach this information. It's no reason some of these things shouldn't be, a lot of these things shouldn't be taught to our children and our the people in our community. Not everybody is online. So those of us, that's one of the things I want to push for. Starting, in 2021, us getting in our communities and finding ways of bringing our people together, whether it's to take them somewhere to get information on how to do their genealogy, how to hear a brother like Tony speak or Bone speak and teach this information, and other teachers we have out here. I mean, it's time. We have to start bringing the people together, face to face. We can't talk about everything online. But go ahead, brother. I just want.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. Once again, shouts to History, because History, he's in New York, and over there in the Bronx, he's working with a woman who has a community center in the Bronx, New York.
Yes.
And he's teaching. He's sharing Aboriginal American history and information to the youth in that community.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's what we need more of.
Absolutely.
You can start in a school cafeteria and grow from there. You can rent out because we got a lot of people that throw around how much money they got, and hey, rent out your hotel conference room or something. Start small and grow from there. I have no problem. I have no problem pulling up to people's cities. That's what I love to do. Like, pull up to your city and see what you got going on in your city. I pull out them cameras and I like to document this. This is what I like to document. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna need this.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you this, man. We have some great initiatives. I've been working on some great initiatives with some very good people within the past year. Chief Taregwa, the co-author of the book, he's a public speaker. He's been speaking on one of his focuses was the caste system, what's called Las Castas in Spanish.
All right.
He deals with things from a Puerto Rican, Arawak, the Caribbean standpoint, but it all ties into Aboriginal American history, truth, and etc. He's a public speaker. We got Two Hawks. He's another public speaker. We got a bunch of great people.
Yes, I've seen him. Okay, yeah, I'm hip to him.
Yeah, and definitely, this last year we was working on some things. Me and some other people was working on some things, but then this pandemic situation happened. So this pandemic happened, it just kind of threw things off a little bit. You know what I mean? But regardless, though, definitely, what my objective is, right, to your point, is definitely we need people throughout the communities, the territories, being aware of, let's say, general American history, true American history, but also the history of the territories in which they are in.
That's definitely right. And let me jump in here real quick. My sister Lisa put into the chat, Indigenous Council is summit in Virginia. This is their third one, Virginia 3. Indigenous Council Summit in Virginia. I think this is their third one, October 8th through the 12th. In Eastville, Virginia, Indian Town Park. Now, I do that sister, I've seen her put her events on. She just had one recently and had speakers come there to speak. Yeah, man, some heavy hitters. You get what I'm saying? Some heavy hitters to her summits. So I appreciate you, Lisa, for doing that, for putting those summits on. And anybody who's in the community, anybody who's in the community making things happen. I really appreciate that and the work you're doing in the community.
Yeah, that's commendable. Absolutely. Christiana Davis, appreciate your presence. Appreciate everyone in the chat's presence.
Yeah. Peace to you. Peace to you.
Yeah, so here we have Tecumseh. It says the celebrated Shawnee warrior speech, right?
Okay. All right.
And see, this is important to me because he's saying some things in which are vital to this day right now. He says, brothers, we all belong to one family. We are all children of the Great Spirit. We walk in the same path. We take, hold on, we stake our thirst at the same spring. And now affairs of the greatest concern leads us to smoke the pipe around the same council fire. Brothers, we are friends. We must assist each other to bear our burdens. The blood of many of our fathers and brothers has run like water on the ground to satisfy the avarice of the white men. We ourselves are threatened with a great evil. Nothing will pacify them but the destruction of all the red men. That's us. Brothers, when the white men first set on our grounds, they were hungry. They had no place on which to spread their blankets or to kindle their fires. They were feeble. They could do nothing for themselves. Our fathers commiserated their distress and shared freely with them whatever the Great Spirit had given his red children. They gave them food when hungry, medicine was sick, spread skins for them to sleep on, and gave them grounds that they might hunt and raise corn. Brothers, the white people are like poisonous serpents. When chilled, they are feeble and harmless, but invigorate them with warmth. And they sting their benefactors to death. The white people came among us feeble, and now we have made them strong. They wish to kill us or drive us back as they would wolves and panthers. I mean, so basically here, this is something in which our youth are not being informed of.
Right.
There's many Shawnee descendants right now. Should our daughters and sons not be aware of this? I mean, our youth need to have faith in themselves.
Definitely.
Have faith in their own people. Not being told this a fiction such as Roots, which is plagiarized from a foreign Caucasian male who wrote some book called The African, which is fiction, right? Our youth who initially saw that back in the 70s, they didn't need to see that filth. Our youth in recent generations, just within the past, what is it, 10 years, they remade the film, made it to a new upgraded miniseries.
Right. And
you know what's sad though? When you think about it, Tony, they showed it to us in school. The first time I ever seen it was in school. And it was right after, you know what made it sad? What really pissed me off when I became an older man was realizing that we got played, y'all. That what they did, this is right after the year that they put us all, in joint schools. Because before this, I went to an all-black school. Following year, they bust us to, a white school. First year we there, they show us Roots. What do y'all think happened?
Yeah, I was
all brawl in the school, right?
I was born the year.
Man, they triggered us so bad. Yeah, they triggered us so bad that we terrorized them people every Friday off of a fictitious movie.
Yo, I had a friend years ago, right? He was Algonquin, right? Blackfoot Algonquin, right? My man Savage, right? That was one of the names he went by. He was an artist. Anyway, he told me when he was in high school, son had me by like 7 years. He was 7 years older than me, right? Anyway, son told me, what was the name of the movie? Sankofa came out?
Sankofa.
It was?
Yep.
Sankofa. Yeah, he said he was a freshman in high school when that came out, right? And they saw it in the movie theater. It was a class trip, school trip to the theater.
Oh man, they took the class.
Yeah. So here it is. You got these inner city youth, wild Indians, straight from the hood in a movie theater, right? They on one side of the movie, they're on the other side of the movie. Then you got another school of Caucasian kids going to see the same movie.
Oh,
you know what happened.
wow, wow. That's crazy.
I mean, but this,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, Bones, what you were saying?
No, I was just saying they triggered us. That they actually tapped into our emotions, got us emotionally unstable, and we ran with it.
And then, how about this? Then we factor in that there are old patents pertaining to devices via radio waves, visual and auditory frequencies being projected through screens, right? To manipulate your central nervous system, your emotions,
right,
brain patterns, all of that.
Wow.
And then so that's the technology behind the scenes. Now we also have the actual script in these quote unquote black actors and actresses who were hired to play these horrible roles, right? To trigger the emotions of the targeted audience, which is our American youth, right? That is outrageous. I mean, in my opinion, if people want reparations, I say we get it from these corporations.
That's who you're supposed to go after.
Good point.
I mean, you have a tort claim. It's called emotional distress.
Good point.
Right? Now, you also have, what is it? You have fraud, which there is no statute of limitations, right? So, I mean, I'm just saying what I'm saying, but, if people were to put together a particular claim where it's like, they imposed this fraudulent story on the people in my territory that are from these particular nations here. And we would appreciate that because as a result of them projecting and selling, advertising, and communicating this fiction, this work of fiction onto our people, it inflicted emotional distress upon us. Who's responsible?
Cool. Good point.
And that's a legal claim because you can show proof. You can show proof that a fictional movie was forced upon us as truth. This is that can be proven
for generations.
You have a lawsuit that was already won. That is your precedence for your lawsuit. You just got to organize that.
Haley versus was it Corlander versus Haley?
Yep. That is our precedent. See, once you understand how law works, all you need is a prior case for precedence. Now you format and attempt on how you can get your grievances addressed. We just got to organize and go after the right people. See, this belief that we can't get done, that's fictional. The problem is we've been our energy and our focus in the wrong places.
Yeah.
Our vision.
And then a lot of us move around with this defeated ass mentality and attitude, and I sit and listen to people and, as they tell us, man, the white man ain't gonna let us do that. And the white man.
Oh man, I hate hearing that shit. God
this
damn.
defeated attitude, I said, why do you care what the white man will or won't let you do? Do it.
Man, the moment you say that, you are a slave. Because you are admitting that someone else has power over you.
Hold on, I'm glad y'all said that. I gotta pull this text up. Hold up, I gotta pull this text up.
Yeah, go ahead, get him.
That shit infuriates me right there. Hold on, let me locate this text real quick because this is why I source particular information, right? I just read it earlier. Let me run that back for y'all real quick. Pertaining to the African. Okay. Now I want y'all to keep what y'all just said in mind. I want y'all to
talk about
keep that in mind. Yeah. I'm about to run that back.
Yeah, run that back.
I'm about to run that back. Here it is right here. Got it right here. Let me scroll down. Here we go.
And bro, before we get off of here, please tell the people where they can get your book from. I was blessed. The brother sent me the book. when it first dropped, man. It's excellent book. I got my homegirl the book. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Y'all don't forget to tell them about your book, brother.
All right, yeah, we can get to that, definitely. So it says here that hold on. I want y'all to describe that real quick. What did y'all just say a minute ago? You got the people. It's like, oh, the white man ain't gonna let you do that.
Yeah,
Hold on,
they'll tell you, man, the white man ain't gonna let us do that.
That's called submissive.
Submissive now.
That is servile.
That's right.
That is servile.
Hmm.
That is being in a debased state, which is important to the quote-unquote white man and any other foreigner.
Very important to them.
It's important. It's like, oh, like, yo, this is smooth sailing.
We need that.
We are going to preserve you. Why? Because you can assist us with making other people submissive.
Well, let me. Okay, so since we're talking about that, right, and we're talking about Black history and American history, would that fall in place? Would that kind of fall in place with the nonviolent, turn the other cheek, Martin Luther King stance in the civil rights movement? Would that kind of fall in place there?
Absolutely. I mean, let's factor this in, right? So, quote unquote, Dr. King, right? Because if I recall correctly, his name was Michael King.
Michael.
Yeah, I believe it was Michael.
Facts.
Yes, sir.
Now,
moment.
his father was a preacher, if I recall correctly. Then he became a preacher, if I recall correctly. Right. And so now let's consider this real quick. We have, as of the 1600s, what was called the Indian colonial colleges, where here it is, you have, as of the late 1700s, you have a guy, an African Moor, whose ancestry goes to Europe, right? He was born a slave. Then he was manumitted, meaning that he purchased somehow his slavery, his servitude was purchased. So now he's quote unquote free to serve anyone else, right? Anyway, he becomes a celebrity evangelist. He became a celebrity because he was engaged in the converting of Indians into Christianity. Now, once an Indian becomes a Christian, well, by default, that Indian becomes a Negro. What are the Christians known for saying? Servants of God, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Then you also have the Muslims talking about servant of Allah. I mean, yo, what about servant of your own people? Or what about just being who you naturally are?
Wow.
So now in regards to a situation where non-violent, yo, we got this text here. Let me show you this one. This is once again from former President James Buchanan's text, published in 1824, Sketches and Manners of the North American Indian. It says here, Indian allies were entitled to a premium for every scalp of an enemy. Now let's think about that real quick. We have Indian allies. Which nations were those? Which Indians were allies? And then which enemies, which Indians were enemies? Who made this choice?
Wow.
And which Indians were going to be allies and which Indians were going to be enemies, right? This continues saying in the war preceding 1703, the government of Massachusetts gave 12 pounds for every Indian scalp. So they basically made these Indian allies mercenaries. In that year, the premium was raised to 40 pounds. So it went from 12 at one point in time of the year, and then it was increased by 28 pounds. From 12 to 40 pounds. But in 1722, it was augmented, raised again. It was raised again from 1703 to 1722. Now it was augmented to 100 pounds, a sum sufficient to purchase a considerable extent of American land. That's a lot of money during this time, right? An act was passed on the 25th of February, 1745, by the American colonial legislator entitled An Act for Giving a Reward for Such Scalps. So now, hold on. See, now this is where I have a problem with things, right? Well, I have a lot of problems with all of this, but the American colonial legislator? Yo, we are Americans. So hold on, we got foreigners came here, they assumed our American identity, and they are engaged in legislative acts while they're colonizing our lands. And they pass an act, a legislative act saying for giving a reward for such scalps. Not content with this execrable pollution of their minds by the agency of lucre, we have sown party division among the Indians, which in all its discordant shapes rages with uncontrolled sway. Their nations are split up into fragments. The son is arrayed against the father. What do we see today in 2021? What did we see last year in 2020? Yo, we just saw an incident beginning of this year. You had some rapper, I forgot what state that was. This rapper killed his whole family.
Oh, wow.
He killed his mother, his father, his little brother, his little brother's baby mother, who was pregnant. And then he went to his girlfriend's house. Didn't kill his girlfriend, fortunately. Their nations are split up into fragments. The son is arrayed against the father, brother against brother, families against families, tribes against tribes, canton against canton. They are divided into factions, religious, political, and personal, Christian and pagan, American and British. What do we have today? We just seen a situation with this quote unquote selection thing, right? Whereas apparently there was a lot of conflict within amongst people's own kin, their own relatives. I'm voting for Trump. Oh, I'm voting for Biden.
That's right. You're definitely right. You're definitely right. You're definitely right.
What happened to our people voting for each other? That's what I'm looking forward to. I want to see our people vote for each other, right? Like you, for example, Callie, and you, Bones, for example, right? Yo, in your respective territories, amongst your people, definitely, I will vote for you and yours to take care of you and yours. That's what I would do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But that's just me. The situation is, though, the people in the territories got to be aware of who to invest their support into.
That's right.
We don't, see this situation here, right? When it comes to foreigners, right? And when it comes to politics, they not only support their own, but they will invest in a foreign political figure that will support their interest.
Gotcha.
These are investments. You come in with the actual like plan where it's like, okay, check it. We want to do this in this particular area. We want these type of contracts, for example. We want contracts for the next 10 years. Or matter of fact, pardon, you're president for quote unquote 4 years, right? So this is what we want. We want all of these contracts for 4 years. If you become president, we're going to tell all of our people from our nation to support you, to vote for you, right? And as a result, you're going to give us 4 years of contracts. Let's shake on it. Let's break bread on it.
Wow.
Now let me continue here. It says the minister of destruction is hovering over them, and before the passing away of the present generation, not a single Iroquois will be seen in the state of New York. Not a single Iroquois will be seen in the state of New York. Now these are see. I put it like this, right? When I go through these old texts, I recognize this as foreign projection. The foreigner is telling us what they have in their mind, how they perceive the world, this American world. I don't perceive this as literal because once again, we're talking about the early going into the mid 1700s here, right? But it's damn near 300 years later. Yo, 1745
Right.
2045.
Right.
Yo, we are literally what's that? 24 years short of that. 324 nearly years later. Look at the condition of our people right now across the country.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
You know, ask one of my guys when I presented this in a live a couple weeks ago, right? I'm like, fam, I got a question. Yo, what would 100 pounds look like in 2021? My man was like, yo, real shit, fuck around, be like 40 to 50K. $40 to $50,000. Then we got Wild Indian out of Chicago. He's talking about how the youth in Chicago being paid, steal somebody's vehicle, drop it off, they cash them out, 10K or whatever amount of money. In the process of acquiring that vehicle, these youth will blow somebody's whole brain off.
Right. That's true.
So, but $10,000. Shit, you know, back in Cali, let me tell you.
That's crazy.
Back in LA, when I was out there, yo, you had people would murder over milligrams of crystal meth, yo.
Wow.
Milligrams. You know, yo, a milligram? A point? 1 point. I'm talking about it's 0.1 on a scale, right? Worth $10, right?
Right.
You can get somebody bodied for that, man.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. That's, man, you are definitely hitting on some excellent points, bro. Like, this is why I was excited, man. I was excited to have you on, man, and have you come on here and talk about some things, boy. You are, and this book is excellent. This book you created is definitely excellent, man. But you're definitely, I mean, smashing on some points. I mean, from old to new, and I definitely appreciate it. While I got you and Bones here, now I know Bones. I know is Bones still here with me? Is you still in here, Bones? I guess he is, because it looked like that's him messing with the screen. Yes, that's Bones. Or Bones, you still in here?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean to be long-winded. I get excited.
Nah, brother, no, listen. You are doing your thing. This is what I told you I wanted you to come on about, man. I told you I was gonna let you go when you came on, bro. And you are doing your thing, brother. Like, I actually, while you was doing your thing, I had some people texting me like, this brother is going in. Ask him this and ask him that.
Some questions. What's up?
Yeah. One of the things before I tell you the questions that someone sent to me as they're listening, let me bring something up that we talked about too offline. A couple things before. Now, Bones, I know you've touched on this too. The Indian Civil Rights Act of 1967, 68, 67.
Yep, that's right.
Since we're dealing with Black history, and Bones, I also know you talk about the hood, the public Indian housing, and all of that. If y'all could touch on some of that during this Black History Month, if y'all could touch on what that was all about.
All right, great. Hey, Bones, you could go for it while I'm gonna get my page ready. That's a reference to the Indian Civil Rights of 1968. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, okay, no problem. All right. Yeah, well, basically, a lot of people know about the Housing Acts of 1968. You know about Martin Luther King marching. You know about the protests. But the part that a lot of our people don't know is when you look up the legislation and the policies, it says Indian. There's no such thing as a hood code. It's public Indian housing. Like, there's a large population of our people that's probably familiar with Section 8. I have relatives that have it. I would advise you, when you get the chance, flip that paper over and look on the back. It's going to say public Indian housing. So now these people that look like you, that they tried to identify as you, and you got these acts, and legally they're under the name Indian. What is that telling you?
That's right. It's not under the name Black.
No.
It's not under the name African American.
No.
It's under Indian. And those Indians so happen to look like your grandmother, your grandfather, your great aunts, your great uncles, right?
Correct. The policy that Dr. Martin Luther King marched for and that they signed in the legislation says public Indian housing. Section 8 is public Indian housing.
Again,
Section 3 is the
moment, right? So we're dealing with another Black history moment, right? Mm-hmm. It's not under Black. It's not under Black, and it's not under African American. It's under Indian, and you have to make that make sense. If Martin Luther King and if you pull up these civil rights pictures, like this is what made a lot of sense to me. If you pull up the civil rights pictures, you don't see those Native Americans, those Native American Indians in there fighting for civil rights. And you're not going to tell me Martin Luther King was marching for those Indians' civil rights. You got to make it. You mean our people was getting bit by dogs and water hosed down and all of that for the Native American? Come on, that don't make sense.
Yeah, and Native needs to be defined.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
True. No, you're right. But you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
On the reservations and all of that. Yeah, but go ahead.
Well, see, you hit something right on the head. That Indians on reservations, they didn't need these policies because they had the policies of the reservations. That these policies are what were made for a classification that a lot of people don't know, which is actually a legal classification: urban Indians. Mm-hmm. These are Indians that don't identify with the tribe, that don't live on reservations. Some of them don't even have tribal connections. You're classified as an urban Indian. So these are policies that were designed for the urban Indians.
Wow.
Yo, I want to read this. I just located the page. I have this in the book also, right? Is the screen share working again?
Yeah, we see it.
Oh, you see? Okay, great. Yeah, because I'm looking at it on YouTube also. I don't see it.
It might be a little delay.
Okay, great. So it says here, Civil Rights Act of 1968, Public Law 90-284, 82, Statute 73. And so what we have here, we have a picture of Lyndon B. Johnson on the left, shaking Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s hand, Michael King, right?
Michael King.
And then on the right of that picture, we have Dr. King waving at all the people at the march, right? So this is what's quoted here. On the 2nd July 1964, Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, a far-reaching bill he hoped would eliminate the last vestiges of injustice in America. King stood behind Johnson as he signed the bill into law, and that's the picture that you see on the left there, right? Fast forward now to 1968. 4 days later, on the 4th of April, 1968, King was assassinated. Johnson wrote in his memoir that he had rarely felt a sense of powerlessness more acutely than the day Martin Luther King Jr. was killed. Less than a week later, Johnson invoked King's memory when he signed into law the Civil Rights Act of 1968. It continues. 1968, President Johnson signs the Indian Civil Rights Act. President Lyndon Johnson calls for termination to be replaced by Indian self-determination. Continuing, Congress passes the Indian Civil Rights Act to ensure that the American Indian is afforded the broad constitutional rights secured to other Americans in order to protect individual Indians from arbitrary and unjust actions of tribal governments. Then I go into particular citations. You have a Title I, interference with federally protected activities. That's important. In Title II, rights of Indians. It is important that we are aware of these things. But if you're talking about you're Black, guess what? You ain't going to be paying attention to this.
Speak on it.
You're not thinking about an Indian. See, and that's one of the issues that I have, right? I don't appreciate those in which I call Black fanatics, and those are those that have influence. Those that have influence throughout populations of our American people, right? Who are aware of this information and they intentionally omit Indian in regards to civil rights. I'm in communication with people, you know. For us, we're like, yo, we got natural rights. We got different types of rights. Absolutely, I feel you. But the thing is, we have people that need their civil rights. They need it because they're not in position to fully exercise their rights effectively because we are in a wild legal commercial environment here. We're dealing with active colonization.
Man, that's real.
How are you? If once upon a time ago, our ancestors was hunting, building, doing everything naturally, fishing and this, that, and the other, right? Didn't need a license to hunt. Didn't need a license to fish. You didn't need a license to build. But since colonization has occurred, they commercialized things. People don't even know about certain Supreme Court decisions where it says no state shall license a right. And people aren't aware of these things. And shout out to my man Terry Bo for sharing that. No state shall license a right.
Yeah, we definitely got to jump into all of that, man.
But the rights of Indians is important because if you don't know your rights as an Indian, you don't even know if the state is infringing on your rights.
That's right. And you wouldn't know if you're calling yourself Black or African. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't care.
Man, this whole African American thing, let's nip this in the bud real quick. You could not claim the category African American until the 2000 census. Okay? The first time that you was able to legally claim that was the year 2000. So we could throw that term completely out the window.
Yeah, out the window. Get out of here. Get up out of here. Bones, while you at it, did you want to, I know you was getting ready to go in and I think I cut you off. You was getting ready to touch on the section, HUD Section 3?
Yeah. Well, basically, HUD Section 3 is the mechanism of this legislation that allows us to get first dibs in the rebuilding of our communities. That allows us to be first in line for the contracts of rebuilding our communities. That allows us to get paid training for skill sets back in our communities. And it does exist. It existed ever since 1968. I mean, I got a simple homework thing. You'll be surprised when we get offline later on, whenever in people downtime, just look up the companies in your local city. Look up your NFL stadiums. Look up your basketball stadiums. You'll be surprised how many of them are collecting HUD Section 3 funding. Because basically it states, as long as you service an urban community, your business don't have to be in that community. You don't have to live in that community. As long as you're providing a service to that community, you will receive federal funding. And guess what, brothers and sisters? That money ain't running out no time soon. They increase it every year.
Yo, you know,
and that's the HUD Section 3.
Hey, Bones, I'm glad you said that. I've came into contact with some great people. Some guys back in Cali. Recently, some other people since I've been out here in Illinois, right? So when I speak to them, I show them particular HUD websites. I'm not going to go into it right now. But anyway, last year alone in some states, they received over $200 million in funding. The funding multiplied last year due to this COVID situation. And so, when I share this information to people, right, I ask them to look outside, walk down their street, get in their vehicle and just drive through their community. after seeing this information. And I asked them to ask themselves, when they look around, where'd the money go?
Where did that money go? Where did that money go? I remember Wild Indian saying this same stuff, man. I remember our conversation then. I think that's what set a fire under him when he found out this information. And he, I remember this conversation.
Yeah, it's like when I first came across this information, we was dealing with the city of Virginia. And this was kind of funny that we actually, we do web calls where we'll actually get on the line with the representatives of HUD and have meetings with them to find out where the funds are going. Are people in that community receiving it? So to make a long story short, basically they told us in the conversation that they didn't have no HUD Section 3 funding, no department. But we was able to find out, because it's public information, that they received millions of dollars. So we looked at the address, and actually paid a visit. They received millions of dollars and they were building high-priced condominiums from wealthy people off of funding that was meant for our communities.
That's right.
This is what happens when we don't participate. This is what happens when we say, oh, no matter what, things ain't going to change. They want you to believe it. Because as long as we don't do anything, they're going to keep milking the system.
That's right.
Yeah, you identify yourself as black, you got nothing coming.
You got nothing coming. You have nothing coming. Your fight is, that's what I was saying earlier. You identifying as black, your fight is nowhere. You have a fight nowhere. And this is another thing. I'm glad Bones just said what he said right there, right? The situation is this, because I'm communicating in the most simplest terms as well. Mm-hmm. Bones has seen it firsthand, right? Me, just based on the research in which I've done and my awareness of the different events taking place throughout these communities across the country, I'm like, yo, they're using this HUD funding that's for these communities to, like it says here, termination to be replaced by Indian self-determination. They're using this funding for termination in the form of gentrification.
Facts.
Now,
exactly.
Now, how I term it, we are dealing with advanced colonization. That's what we're dealing with here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And for 60 years, 1968, once again, to 2020. That's a long time right there.
Yeah.
That's a lot of funding.
So we're digging. So all of this is coming from going all the way back to the Indian public housing, not the black public housing, not the African American public housing, not the Black Civil Rights Act of 1967.
The Moors civil rights, the Hebrew civil rights,
the Indian. So why would we want to keep holding?
I got a question. Who coined the term African American?
Jesse Jackson. Well, he popularized it.
He popularized it. The part that was missed in it, before he popularized the term, then he started a nonprofit organization.
Was that the push?
Yes. Now let's break this down.
Okay.
His Rainbow Coalition. So this is what an African American is. An African American is the identity of anybody who's a member of the Rainbow Coalition. It's just like the term a U.S. citizen. You know why they use the classification U.S. citizen? Because the United States is a nonprofit organization. And because you are a member, you are referred to as a citizen.
That's right.
Wow.
Nothing more, nothing less. It's just a status, a name, a recognition of a member. You're claiming membership to something. Anytime you say African American and you go out there, Jesse Jackson is getting federal funding to come rock you to sleep. Play with it.
That's real. Yeah. So listen, real quick. I know Tony said he wanted to. I got about 20 or 30 minutes left. That I got time to be on here. But I want, before we get out of here, because I definitely wanted y'all to I wanted Tone to really shout out his book and anything he wanted to shout out while he was on here.
That's appreciated.
All of that, you know what I'm saying? But let me Bones, you Tone, you said you wanted to question. One of the questions was they were asking about the can y'all explain the SF 181 form? I don't know if that goes in with
I can explain that. I can explain it first and foremost, right?
Okay.
I don't have the form in front of me, but whoever's asking this question, right? First and foremost, I would direct you to the very top, the header section of this page, of that page SF 181.
Okay.
It says Office of Personnel Management. Okay. I shared this information before I defined the entire document. You want to define what an office is, you want to define what personnel is, and you want to define what management is, right?
Okay.
You also want to take a look at the fact SF means Standard Form 181. This form is for federal employees.
Okay.
Federal employees. If you are not applying to become a federal employee, if you are not currently a federal employee, you should not be touching this form.
Better leave it alone.
Wow.
Now, if you are seeking to become a federal employee, or you are currently a federal employee and you need to make some proper choice and decisions on there, I would definitely encourage you to know your genealogy. It says blatantly on there, white people who have origins in Europe and North Africa. It says Black/African. People having origins in West and just generally Sub-Saharan Africa or something like that. It says Asian. People having racial origins in Asia. Then it says American Indian, not Native American. It says American Indian having origins in these Americas. Now, the people that have been promoting this SF 181, once upon a time ago, those Moors and Hebrews, they was telling people to put white, select white.
Wow.
Now, question. Do your people come from Europe or North Africa? Because if they don't, why would you select white? Okay. Fast forward in recent years, I want to say within the past roughly 5 to 10 years, the same Moors and Hebrews out of that sovereign citizen BIE camp, Black Identity Extremist camp, right? They've said, oh yeah, you want to select whites and American Indian. But at the same time, though, we have these same factions that are telling people all life began in Africa. So why don't you just select Black African? Because by default, a Hebrew and a Moor, they originate in Africa generally. Whether North, South, East, or West Africa, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you, to define all of these terms for yourself. And once again, if you're not seeking to be employed with the United States federal government, its agencies, and etc., leave it alone. If you are employed with the federal government or any of its agencies, the United States, what have you, then make whatever corrections you need to make, but make sure your corrections are correct. Not just assuming and listening to some random dudes with nice little teacups on their head. You know what I mean?
Listen,
Tony, you said something.
Go ahead, brother.
You said something that's very important, and I just want to touch on to it. Brothers and sisters, and a lot of these books, there's a glossary for a reason. You cannot use your standard dictionary for the definitions in these books, especially if it has its own glossary, because they're using different definitions. So when you get these government books and pamphlets, you have to use the definition that they have in that glossary on what that term means. If not, it's going to look ugly.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you say the word mean. It's what they say it means and how they're using it on their paperwork. That's why it has a glossary. That's why it has an index to tell you that dealing with this form and this agency, this term means this.
That's right.
Right. Listen, y'all are definitely going here, man. Y'all two brothers are definitely going in, man. I have one last question before I really got to get out of here, but I don't know who wants to tackle this or if you both want to tackle it. But I wanted to ask, one of the questions that was asked was, what is de-Indianizing of the nationalization? I don't know who wants to tackle that. If either one of you want to tackle that, can you tell us about what de-Indianizing of the nationalization is about?
Okay, Bones, you want to go? I'll follow up if you want to go first. It's all good.
Yeah, I can. I mean, in simplest terms, kill the Indian, save the man. Meaning getting you to willingly identify with other nations, other people, to walk away from who you are.
In other crayon colors.
No. I mean, to keep it simple, to make you identify as something else, to make you forget who you are, where you come from, your responsibility. So now you don't care what happens because you have no attachment to it. I mean, in a simple form.
Yeah, I mean, but you should care about it. And this is why we're doing this definitely in this so-called Black History Month, because you're not paying attention to what has happened to us and how we've been reclassified and how they're trying to purposely make us call ourselves something else, which detaches us from our land, which detaches us from our history. They're giving us somebody else's history, man. You know what I'm saying? Them Africans over there said, quit stealing our history. That's what them Africans is over there saying. Like, man, quit, get off our jack.
I'm gonna show y'all something so that we can I want to elaborate on that question right there, right?
Go ahead, brother.
Give me one moment. I'm almost there. I didn't prepare for the details of that question in this, but I did a series recently. It's called Hidden Colors. You want to take a look at the one titled Negro Cults and Black Fanatics or something. It's Negro cults or something, religious fanatics, something like that, right? But anyway, the situation is this. You have once again the colonial colleges, okay? Now, what these colonial colleges did, as I mentioned, you had the guy John Merritt, okay?
Okay.
Now, John Merritt, once again, he was a celebrity Christian evangelist. Okay. He was a celebrity because he was converting Indians into Christians. He converted the king of the Cherokees and his daughter into a Christian. He became a celebrity. Also, continuing, he was initiated by Prince Hall himself into the Prince Hall African Lodge. Okay, I'll show y'all. Matter of fact, I need to show y'all that. Yeah.
Hey man.
I want to be very, very clear here, because this is where all of this Black fanaticism comes from. Okay. This is where it comes from here. Hold on, you one moment here. Yeah, okay, so we have this one here. Okay, bet I was able to locate my PDFs. So yeah, you can literally look up colonial colleges, Indian slavery. You can look this up. You can run Google searches for that. But I'm gonna show you these texts. I need to find one more here. Damn it. Prince Hall Freemasonry. Here we go. So as I mentioned a moment ago, right, we had the dude John Merritt, right?
Okay.
Matter of fact, let me locate that document too. Yeah, let me make sure I pull that up. Damn it, where the hell is it? Here it is, right there. Perfect, got it. Oh, is this the right one? I got two of them. Come on, run. That's not the right one. This is a whole other text right there. Pardon. I do a lot of cross-referencing in my research, but this is the one I'm looking for here. So, all right. You can locate this text right. It's titled A Narrative of the Life of John Merritt of New York in North America, with an account of the conversion of the King of the Cherokees and his daughter. Okay. I went into detail on this in the presentation. Feel free to pull that one up at your convenience. But this is what we're going to show now in regards to Black History Month, because this is real Black history right here.
Okay. There we go.
Where are we at? Here we go, right here. So now, I'm just going to fast forward. This right here is from a document titled Prince Hall Freemasonry and Genealogy. This is Indiana State University. This was published in 2000. All right. Joanna Summers, her name is. Joanna Brooks. Anyway, it says here, 3 lately republished and repopularized 18th century speeches, John Merritt's sermon to the African Lodge of the Honorable Society of Freed and Accepted Masons, 1789, and Prince Hall's just to the Lodge at Charleston, 1792, and Metonymy suggests a more extensive encounter for Ethiopianism. Prince Hall established the African Lodge of Freemasons in Boston in the 1780s and invited celebrity evangelist John Merritt to serve as his chaplain. So once again, what is John Merritt a celebrity evangelist for? He's a celebrity evangelist for the conversion of Indians, such as the King of the Cherokees and his daughter, into Christianity.
Wow. Wow.
He's a celebrity for that. Now, in regards to de-Indianization, okay, because that is de-Indianizing. When an Indian is no longer an Indian, okay, you've been de-Indianized.
That's right.
D means to remove. Just like, it's like you have able, then you have disable.
Disable, right.
But we're talking about DE. So let me do this. So because as I mentioned, this is the Indian colleges, the Indian colonial colleges, right? So it says here, but slavery existed in all the 13 colonies in Fort Tom and all 13 original states. Okay. Indeed, settlers had enslaved American Indians and Africans, intertwining slavery in the social institutional fabric of the colonies. So at these colleges, what was taking place was they were teaching Indians how to be Christians. They were teaching them about God and Jesus and all of that. How to be, right. What's the word? What's the word? Submissive?
Submissive. There we go again. There we go with that word again.
How to be
What's
submissive?
The one thing they kept telling them? What was their justification? Oh, the Bible said, yes. Honor thy master.
Yes. Man.
Honor thy master. And see, once again, we have that text I showed earlier, right? Master and servant, an employer-employee relationship. So hold on. Honor your master. Yo, hold on. We got a vaccine situation right now.
That's
hold
right.
on. They're trying to poison people. This vaccine causes infertility. That's genocide. So you want to honor your employer, aka master? So that you can give consent to your own genocide?
Right.
And see, this is why my book is about full disclosure, because they're not going to give it to us. We have a duty to provide it for ourselves. So I want to show this other text. My bad. I didn't want to take too much of your time.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So this text is Education Legislation, 1967. Hearings before the Subcommittee on Education of the Committee on Labor and Public Welfare, United States Senate, 19th Congress, first session on S 1125 and HR 7819. Now, this is a particular page. This is page 2767, it says, right? I was going to fast forward here. Student orientation. One of the grave problems of Indian education in the United States has been the poor psychological orientation of the student due to the anti-Indian bias of those in charge. Many a young Indian has been given psychological problems by good-intentioned whites whose goal was to de-Indianize the young person by depreciating the Indian heritage. Most people must be at peace with their past. in order to meet the future, and the Indian must have a sense of pride and inner security. Thus, the policy of the university should be to help students in their orientation by developing a pride in the Native American heritage. This does not mean that the university should depreciate the value of the non-Indian heritage or artificially preserve the Indian way of life. On the contrary, Indian people from inferiority complexes and insecurity will see to it themselves that those portions which are worth preserving will be preserved. But bottom line here, many young Indians has been given psychological problems by good-intentioned whites. But hold on, we're dealing with these blacks too. Okay. These real blacks. I just told y'all about Prince Hall and John Merritt, right? Those are the real blacks, for example, that were engaged in the actual work of de-Indianizing and De-Indianization. Now, in regards to the other part of the question, denationalize. So now, you have an Indian. This Indian has a nation. In my book, I count out over 1,040. That's over 1,040 different nations, right? What happens when a young person that has been depreciated of their heritage, now they don't know any of their nations? Wow. That's de-Indianization. That's de-Indianizing, and then that's denationalization, when you have been removed from your nation. Definitely. You have these people talking about the Nation of Islam. You got other people talking about the Black nation. But meanwhile, when Africans come here, you know, they come with their nations. They represent the nation of Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, a whole bunch of them over there, right? They got like 80 countries over there. They don't
come represent the Black nation.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Ghanaians have problems with Nigerians.
Think of it. If you so African, walk up in one of them embassies and let's see what type of help you get.
That's right. That's right.
If you're so Moorish, pick one. The Embassy of Mauritania or the Moroccan Embassy. Pick one.
Watch how fast they moonwalk you up out of there.
Nah,
if you're a Hebrew.
He said if you're a Hebrew.
If you're a Hebrew, go to your nearest Israeli embassy. And then return with your experience. I told them to do this years ago. I guess they didn't want to do it. I don't know why they didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
but if you don't want to do it, leave our American Indian, our Aboriginal talking, this indigenous American people alone. Leave us out of that equation.
Oh, I know why they wouldn't do it, because they know the answer just like we know what was going to happen.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But here we are, right? Here we are, and this is what we're dealing with. Black history versus American history. And this brother just said those that were considered Black had a hand in helping de-Indianizing the Indian. This is what I be telling y'all, like, why do you want to attach yourself to that? Why? Listen, y'all, I had a great time. This is I got to get ready to get off of here, but this is a great experience of having both of my brothers out here, Tomahawk Tony and my brother Bones, man. This was excellent. Going out of here, man, Tomahawk Tony, man, listen, plug that book, man. Tell them where they can.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I just pulled up the A4 Truth website. You can either type in the letter A, number 4, the word truth.com. That will direct you to shop-a4truth.com, and you'll see the images on the website of the book itself.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll see the images, right here. This will take you. We have a PDF version, and we also have the physical paperback version. The book itself is over 400 and I want to say 40 pages, including full color, 100 full color images, historical.
Great book.
And yeah, it covers a lot. The title of the book, as you see, the implications and ramifications of the artificial black identity, a legal chronology of the Americas, 1492 to 1968, concise and definitive, second edition. Chief Chiregua, he is the co-author.
Excellent, excellent,
And
excellent.
you can get it on Amazon also, but it's 15% off on our website. Due to the COVID situation, delivery time for production of our book has been a little has been altered. So basically, it's approximately about 2 weeks for production, between production and delivery. So within 2 weeks, approximately, your book will be delivered.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it, man. Hey, Bones, you wanna last words before I get up out of here?
Well, you know me, I'm gonna keep saying it. History isn't universal to everyone. Do your due diligence to find out who you are. Find out what your people was doing so you have a better understanding of where you're trying to go. Because again, if you don't know where you come from, how you gonna get to where you're trying to go? Keep up the work, everybody. We're gonna get it done.
Nah, that's real. That's real, man. One thing I do want to say, man, is I'm gonna be doing more of these bills like this, bringing different people. I'm going to be bringing different people and different information to the table. Now, this is what y'all have to understand. This is what you have to understand when you see these different people come with information. At the end of the day, it's still up to you to go do your own research on what was presented. If it interests you, at the end of the day, whatever you heard, it's up to you to dig deeper, to see whatever you were hearing, see if it's any truth to it, see if it's any fact to it. This is what we're dealing with. Don't just follow people. We've been doing this too long. Don't just follow the information because somebody came on and said it, and you so happen to like the person. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's up to you to dig deeper, to find out the information that you heard, if that's something you want to stick with or not. You got to understand, this person might make their macaroni this way. This person might make their macaroni that way. You get what I'm saying? I might like the way this person make it over here more than I like it the way this person makes it over here. You get what I'm saying? So anytime you see me do these bills like this, at the end of the day, you still have to do your own research on what you heard. And I want people to understand that. You know, everybody's not going to like everybody's information. Everybody's not going to be into everybody's information, which is understandable, which is fine. You know, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to dig deeper. We're gonna anytime you see me doing these, we're gonna call this the Chief Circle. That's what we're gonna name this the Chief Circle when we do these. When you see me on the Tribe Biz page doing my thing. Now you have my brother Wild Indian who might come on and his might be a whole nother name, or my brother Netcher or Bones might jump in here and they might have different names for their segments on this channel. But what we're doing, I don't know if the brother Tomahawk Tony will be uploading over here also, but if he does, I'm sure he'll have his own, his own what he wants to call his segments or whatever. But this is what we're gonna start up over here with myself on the Chief Circle. You get what I'm saying? So, man, I thank everybody for stopping through, man, and I definitely thank you, brothers, for stopping through to have this conversation with me, to enlighten me, to enlighten us. You brothers are great, man. Any last thing y'all want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, I appreciate y'all presence. Much appreciation to our American people. You know how I go: kill foreign media, kill your TV, kill propaganda, kill identity crisis. Don't be cannon fodder. A4 truth, A4 pure. Cowboy season is over. Much appreciation to our American people. I appreciate the invite. I appreciate Bones, what you shared. I appreciate your energy and your presence as well, Callie. You know what I mean? I definitely look forward to the next one.
Oh man, I'm gonna call you back, brother. I'm gonna get you back in here. Anytime you want to come, man, I'm gonna get you up in here.
All right, that's a bet.
For sure. Bones. Let them know where they can find y'all too before we get out of here.
Well, basically, like I said, I enjoy these conversations, and I agree. As a community, we need to have a lot more so we can start becoming more of aware and putting ourselves in positions to make a real change. And basically, y'all can get in contact with me at my email, boneshmccoy@gmail.com, or the Autonomous Assembly website. You can just drop a line and I'll get it 24 hours a day.
What about you, Tony? Where can they find you at? Do you have a certain place that you like to?
I mean, I prefer email. Yeah,
Okay.
I prefer email. The Tomahawk Tony emails, tomahawktony.csio. That's abbreviation for Cowboy Season is Over at gmail.com. You can contact me directly through any of the A4, A4 Pure, A4Truth.com websites. We also got the Aboriginal American Truths website. Contact through that. Contact via any of the social media platforms, and a lot of different people know me, so you can reach out throughout the different people as well.
Definitely, man. We about to get up out of here, man. Y'all know, y'all can catch me on my Truth Speaks with Chief Cali page, and you can start catching me over here at the Tribe Biz on the Tribe Biz page. And if you want to email me, my email is chiefcali216@gmail.com. chiefcali216@gmail.com, man. Hey, listen, man, we about to get up out of here, man. You guys have a great night, man. Thank you for stopping in, man. Truth Speaks. Free your mind. Free your mind. Truth Speaks. Blessings be the tribe.
No doubt. Much appreciation to Tribe Biz. Y'all be good.
Yes, sir.
Where my motherfucking real niggas at? The ones that be, the ones that go where I go, the ones see what I eat, the ones that see our condition. Where my motherfucking real niggas at? The ones that be where I be, the ones that go where I go, they get fed up like me. My niggas from the club, my niggas straight up the streets, my niggas that done did dirt, but trying to clean up. My niggas used to be sick, but they done woke the fuck up. Been in the same place forever, we live in stuff, that's cause we insane bullshit and we go with knowledge. Who gon' be the example? Who gon' stand up for the truth? Hey, who gon' teach them? Who gon' lead them? Who gon' ride for the youth? We gotta teach them integrity, teach them how to be proud. Don't only teach them to live, gotta teach them how to survive. So much shit we can challenge, but it's hella shit we don't know. Learn the laws of the land, look in the code until pro. But some shit you gon' learn, you gon' have to keep on the low. That's simply for our protection, cause sometimes silence is gold. To my niggas that died and they came right back resurrected, that's when you match up and you especially selected. I just wanna see change, see my people get free. Some was put here to follow and some was put here to lead. Hey, some was put here to learn and some was put here to teach. Some was put here to listen and some was put here to speak. Yeah, I know who I am and what I'm here to do in life, cause every day I'm in my purpose. I was put here to inspire. I know the radio won't play this shit, but I'ma still do it. I'ma go against the grain with this conscious ass music. Know that